Okay, fine. So when we talk about projects, so Ashok, right now summarizing your profile, right now you are getting 7.5 LPA as a data analyst, okay, and you have skills on SQL or Python. Even for those who do not have this knowledge on SQL or Python, not to worry, we will even covering this SQL and Python. Okay, even from the very scratch, we'll be covering this before getting to data engineer. Okay, and so now for you to go from like 7.5 LPA to 15 LPA, you have to bare minimum show 2 years of experience as a data engineer. For that, you have to work on good amount of projects. What are the projects we'll be covering? We'll be covering 5 projects. Project 1, it will be on Data Factory. Okay, Data Factory, the first project. Project number 2 on Databricks, ADB. Project number 3 will be on Synapse Analytics. Okay, project number 4 will be on Data Fabrics. And finally, the 5th project will be a mega project. Okay, it is a full stack data engineering project. Full stack data engineering project. In this project, you'll be covering all of these things. 1, 2, 3, 4. All of these projects skills you'll be covering on. Okay. So now, so this along with these things, you'll be clearing one global certification. With global certification, you'll be clearing DP 700. Do you guys know what is DP 700? This is Microsoft Certified Data Fabric Associate. Previously, there was one certification called as DP 203. Microsoft Certified Data Engineer Associate. This is removed by Microsoft. This is no longer in existence. So this is how the plan should be. For you to cover all of these things, how much duration it will take? Minimum, it will take around like 3.5 to 4 months. But you need not have to wait in 3.5 to 4 months. Once you complete the project on this first project on Data Factory, you can start attending the interviews. Okay, Ashok, getting the clarity?
Yes, Mohit.
Okay, so that is how, okay, the plan will be. That is how, okay, we will be planning the classes. This is how the structure of the classes will be. Okay, only thing is that you have to project the experience. You cannot say that I am a beginner, I took the course and this, that will not work.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. If you have any follow-up questions, you can put ours, and others, you guys can introduce yourself. Okay, gradually we will even discuss the practicals, projects, and everything. First of all, the use case. So as we discussed one use case, similarly we'll discuss a lot of use cases and get into it. Okay, yeah, guys. Anybody else would like to introduce yourself? Just unmute yourself and introduce yourself. Okay. So as you guys can see the screen, these are the this is the kind of the full stack project we'll be working on. Okay, first we'll be getting started. Okay, on this line of Data Factory. We'll also discuss what is the difference between Data Factory. Then we'll be getting into, we will be storing the data. For storing the data, we'll be using ADLS. What is ADLS? Azure Data Lake Storage. Okay, in Azure Data Lake Storage, we'll be using medallion architecture to store the data like in bronze layer, silver layer, gold layer. Bronze layer is for like, okay, unclean data. Okay, gold layer for fully structured and processed data. We'll discuss about all of these things. Then Databricks will be doing the big data transformation. Then we'll be deploying with the help of Kubernetes. Okay, deploying with the machine learning. So these are the step-by-step approaches what we'll be doing. We'll talk about this all of it. So before that, those who joined, just introduce yourself quickly so that we get a clarity about like what background you are from. Yeah. But anybody, yeah, Mohammed, Ismail, Ganesh, you guys can go ahead. Just introduce yourself quickly. What is your background? What kind of experience you have?
Hi, myself Mohammed.
Yeah, Ismail, just check your audio is not clear.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, myself Mohammed. So I have 15 years of experience in IT. So my background is full of SQL.
So what is your current designation, Ismail?
Senior data analyst.
Okay, you also work as a data analyst, senior data analyst. Okay.
Currently is a data.
What is the total years of experience?
Yeah, I have overall 15 years experience in pure IT.
Your voice is again a little bit breaking. It's not clear.
Now?
Yeah, maybe it's wavering. You have to check on it. Okay.
So 15 years of experience in IT.
Okay, so what is your current CTC like?
Yes, my current studies is 11, and actually my background was 13 plus experience in SQL, MS SQL, and 7+
Okay.
years of experience at Power BI.
Fine. Got it. So I got your profile. So basically 11 LPA, to be very honest, 11 LPA is very less for a 15 years experience, right? But this is actually, you should have been a bare minimum package of at least 25 LPA. Fine, not a problem. So maybe right now, how do you have any knowledge on data engineer?
Yes. So just I have started actually data engineer at 1 year before. Unfortunately, I could not complete that course from some institute.
Fine, not a problem. See, the only thing is that you have to, as I told to Ashok also, you should also migrate from here. 11 LPA, you can aim for like 20-25 LPA. Yes, it's possible. Only thing is that you have to show 2 years of experience as a data engineer with the projects. Again, what I told you at the same thing I will repeat. First project on Data Factory, second project on Databricks, third project on Synapse Analytics, fourth project on Data Fabrics, and fifth project will be a full stack project, which will include everything. Okay. Along with that, we'll be even helping you with DP700. This will be a structure. This will take around like 3.5 to 4 months.
So I have one.
Yeah. So you also I want you to fix your audio and then ask, because it is really hard for me to understand what you're trying to speak. Okay. Or else, if you are facing issue, just drop your questions in the chat box. Okay. Okay. Fine. So how about others? Anybody else who would like to introduce? You guys can go ahead. Okay. So that full we'll discuss about that.
Yeah, I
Hello?
can introduce. Yeah, hi. I can introduce myself. This is Pravendran K.
Yeah, Pravendra, please go ahead.
Yeah, I have 13 years of experience into database development in MS SQL Server.
So okay, can you be a little louder?
Yeah, I can. Yes, sure. Yeah, I have 13 years of experience into MS SQL Server development.
Okay.
Yeah, currently I'm working in Devon Software Service Private Limited, which is located in Bangalore.
Okay.
My current CTC is 32 LPA per annum.
Okay.
Yeah, actually,
Okay.
I have.
And also, Pravendran, one question I have for you, right? Are you also leading a team here?
I'm not exactly leading a team because it's a distributed team I'm currently working, because everyone is managing the separate path. Because yeah, I'm actually the part of database. I'm taking care of that entire database. So in the portion, it is like we are a team, but no one is a team lead in terms of.
Fine, got it. So mainly thing is that in your profile, what I understood right now is you are getting 32 LPA, okay, only because you are handling a major portion of data transformations. And like, what do you do in a SQL? What kind of a work do you do?
Yeah, I normally it's my pure work into development only, because I'm working in a product called Dutch payroll, the Netherlands payroll. So here it's all about it's like taking care of entire data system, like in terms of from the
Again, your voice is the volume is going low.
Oh, okay, not sure. Okay, can you hear me now? Is it fine?
Yeah, it was fine a minute ago. Okay, now again it has reduced. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, the project which I'm working, I'm the taking care of entire ownership. Like my work is like to communicate with the business and get the requirement, and I'm also need to, because it's a part of BA also, because I need to.
Okay, so now Pravendran, I totally respect what you're saying. And also we have like limited time. We have to
yeah, understand.
We have to little bit talk in a very summarized approach, so that yes, at the end, by the end of stay till the end, we will discuss in detail about your profile and everything. But however, at the start, why is that I'm trying to talk to a few of you, so that we first of all, whatever we learn at the end of the day, we want to grow a career from where we are right now to the next level, right?
Yeah.
So for example, for you at a 32 LPA, when compared to somebody who's all getting 10 LPA, the approach of project what will be working on will be different, right? You cannot work on basic project and expect 40 LPA, and that guy, 10 LPA guy, cannot work on a very super advanced project, and he will not be able to handle. There should be a sync with what your current profile is, right? True. And what kind of exposure you have on data engineering?
Data engineering, actually, I don't have any exposure on it. Only theoretical part I'm just reading here and there. But I also know what is my skill set, and what I'm getting is not actually relevant, because I only know the database development, MS SQL Server development. I can rate myself as a 7 out of 10. But in terms of data analysis, data engineering, I have zero knowledge in practical.
Fine, not a problem. See, one thing good thing about your profile is, okay, you are very clear about there is a clarity in your communication. See, I will talk whenever we are talking about this. I will also try to analyze your profile in terms of, if I am taking your interviews, what kind of a perception I'm getting about you.
Okay.
Right, because that will have clarity is there. You are clear. Your profile even gives a sound, right. You are a guy who can deliver work if assigned, right? And one more thing, what kind of clarity I get from you is, right, even if you are assigned a task, even if, on the technological stack which you do not know, okay, you are kind of a guy who will do a kind of some sort of a research and come back to it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That is what.
That is what they say, because this is what I look for when I recruit. Correct?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we will not expect you to know everything, right? So now, having said that, now you are already working on like 13 years you have got. Now 13 years of experience you have got. This is 13 years. So now what you will do in this, okay, you will blend this data engineer. Blend this data engineer. This is data engineer. You will blend this into last 2 to 3 years. You can tell last 2 to 3 years, I am actively, okay, working on even data engineering projects. You have to blend it. What happens then is, right, okay, so your profile, which was only SQL developer related job, it will convert into more of like trending profile, because data engineering plus cloud on Azure is something that is trending right now, right? Not only right now, because Microsoft is right now the richest company, and kind of services they are bringing, like fabrics and all, unified approach and all. This is not every cloud has is able to crack that. Right. So when you are able to bring that profile and work on some good amount of projects, so right now you are into development. Next, what you'll do, you'll be building the pipelines. Okay, you will be doing as a data engineer. What is the work of a data engineer? Data engineer role is to design. Okay, build. Okay, and manage. What will you manage, Pravinder? What will a data engineer design? What will a data engineer build? What will a data engineer manage? He will be designing and building and managing the data pipelines. Correct?
Correct.
Okay, data pipelines from where to where? Data pipelines from source to destination.
To destination, one source to another destination. Yeah.
Correct. So at the source, the data might be unclean, unprocessed, okay, unstructured. Now your duty as a data engineer is to do this ETL process, extract, transform, load, and do a lot of transformations here, and then load into destination. Now, who will be using this data completely processed, completely structured, completely clean data at the destination? Who will be using that data?
The business will be using it.
Business in the sense who? Machine learning engineers, data scientists, right?
Data scientist. ML guys and data scientists.
Machine learning guys. Okay, data analyst guys.
That's a base
guys,
of
because for these guys they need, okay, they cannot work on raw data, unprocessed data. For them, they need fully processed data.
You are very clear.
Right. This kind of fully processing ability, that okay, for that data, okay, that is fed into their plate by data engineers.
Clear.
All right. So that is how we are connecting the whole scenarios here. Okay. So that is how we are like now the question is, now we have got to know, as a data engineer, the data engineer's role is, okay, here we have got the source. Okay, here we have got the destination. Okay, in source has been like it's like a fully unstructured data. Okay, unstructured, raw, okay, unclean, unprocessed. Okay, but at the destination here, as a data engineer, what you will do, you will be designing the pipeline. Okay, building the pipeline. Okay, and managing the pipelines. Okay.
Yes.
So my friend, now managing the pipelines and make sure that at the destination, that is fully processed data is available, fully processed and fully structured. Okay. So now to do this, so now the data is coming from different sources, hundreds of sources, correct? So now we'll be extracting the data from different sources. Some data might be from website, API, right? API. It may be from some SQL developer, or maybe from a NoSQL database, or it may be from anything. Okay, that we'll be discussing in the actual classes. Will not go in deep into that. So now for you will be extracting the data and do the transformation. Okay, to do the transformation, extracting the data, transforming the data, and loading into
loading the data.
loading the data
Destination.
into the final data warehouse.
Data warehouse, yeah.
And from this, okay, this data scientists, data machine learning engineers, AI engineers, these guys will pick the data from here.
Yeah.
So now the question is, so now there are different, now we'll got to know that we have to build a pipeline from here to here. This is one pipeline. Similarly, how many pipelines will any data engineering project have? Any idea, guys?
No idea.
How many pipelines? How many pipelines will an average organization, okay, in general will have? This is one pipeline. One pipeline in the sense, just imagine that this is in some one pipeline we talked about. Similarly, and on an average, there will be around like 300 to 500 pipelines.
Huge, yeah.
Okay, so even in a very basic organization, there will be at least 150 to 200. But most of the MNCs and product-based companies, this is what a pipeline is. On an average, how many, what will the team size? On an average, I'm taking. There will be approximately 20-25 members in data engineering team.
Okay.
Okay, you will be leaded by data engineers. See, how will the hierarchy? Data engineers, senior data engineers. Okay, then above them will be data architects. What is a data architect? Data architect is the guy who designs this pipeline. What do you mean by design the pipeline? Right now, we talked about 300 pipelines. 300 pipeline is like, will be in a havoc mode. What pipeline, what tools or service should be used when? Okay, how should we trigger what pipelines, right? What pipeline should be used when? So that, because for example, if you take if you're a general apartment in any kind of a metro city, there will be like pipelines everywhere. So now, first of all, okay, the architect will design, right? Which pipeline should go in what path, right? It cannot go like all over the building, correct? Yep. It should be structured so that right from the tanker that is in the top of the roof to water to flow to all the flats, they should be structured. Similarly, the pipeline has to be very much structured. That design is done by a data architect. Once that is done, data engineers along with the senior data engineers will be building this pipeline by using extracting, transforming, loading, and all of it. Okay, so this is a general outlay of how the data engineer looks like. So to make this happen, we have to use lot of services and tools. Like what are the tools we'll be using? We'll be using Data Factory, we'll be using Databricks, we'll be using Synapse Analytics. Okay, we'll be for storing the data, we'll be using ADLS. What is ADLS? Azure Data Lake Storage. In ADLS, we'll be saving the data in different format that is called as medallion architecture. Okay, bronze layer, okay, silver layer, gold layer. Okay, how do you do this? Okay, how do you deploy? And once all the pipelines are built, you need to also deploy the data, right? Deploying the data into deploying the data pipelines into the cloud. How do you do that? With the help of DevOps. So nowadays, even the data engineers are even asked questions on DevOps as well. Okay, because how will you deploy these pipelines? So that is only done with the help of DevOps. Now, data engineers, as a data engineer, you should also have knowledge on DevOps as well. That is the need for this 2025 and beyond. So far, it might be like you are only asked question on data. Remember, from now on, if you want to build your career, because there are lots and lots of layoffs happening because of AI, right? You cannot stick to only basic thing. I will know basic stuffs and I will be surviving. No, that is not the approach. You have to build your career in such a way. You have to compound yourself. Okay, I hope it is clear so far. If anybody has any kind of questions, you can put across. Say slowly about what the approach, what will follow now. We'll give you the presentation like this. Okay, in a way, not on a beginner level. We'll try to go on a little bit advanced level so that everybody, I think, most of you are relatively experienced here. Do not want to go with like basics of data and structure and all. That will be like more or less like babysitting level. Okay, we want to get into the next level. So any of you has any kind of questions so far, can unmute yourself and ask. So gradually we'll move forward.
So I have one doubt. So in Azure data engineering itself, is there any specified AI for AI along with data engineer?
Okay, that's a good question. See, one thing you need to understand. So right now, why data engineering is also done by
No, I'm asking third party is a built-in. I'm asking.
For example,
Power BI have a Copilot
I
built
got
in.
your
That's
question.
what.
What point of view you are trying to ask this point? I understood. For that, so whenever I'm trying to answer the question, we'll try to go to the root first. So understand like what is from what root, and like because like your one question should help answer like 100 of other questions which you may have in your mind. Right?
Yeah.
First thing. Okay. See, right now Microsoft is the richest company right now. Right? Why?
Yeah.
Because it's a leader in AI also. Why? How is it a leader? Right now, remember in 2023 when ChatGPT came into the market. Okay, which is the company which developed ChatGPT? It is developed by OpenAI, right? So right now, OpenAI is bringing one of the most curious model that is called as O3 model. I think most of you guys are aware of it, right? That is among the top 50 developers of the world. So because of this, most of the layoffs are happening. So now, who is the major investor for OpenAI? Microsoft again. Ismail, getting the point?
Microsoft.
Yes.
Okay, again it's Microsoft. So what is like, okay, at the end of the day, Microsoft, maybe let me give you one more example. There is a company called Git. Do you guys know it? It's a version control for all version control, Git.
Yeah,
right?
yes, yeah.
So this was a separate company. Okay, now this company was acquired by Microsoft recently. And what they have done, okay, now Microsoft also has a leading edge on OpenAI. They have invested even in it. What they have done, they have converted Git, okay, and they have combined the AI concepts, generative AI concept with Git, and they have created something called as Git Copilot. Have you guys heard of it?
Yeah.
Right? How powerful
Yes.
is this Git Copilot? Right? It is like 100 times more powerful than Git. Correct?
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is, right, when the normal tools or services are powered with AI, it becomes like a Git on steroids. Right? Similarly, okay, Microsoft is working on, okay, similarly, Microsoft is working on to integrate AI like this with multiple tools. Gradually, it's happening. Okay, right now, recently, they have brought some one of the unified tool like Azure Fabric, Data Fabric. What is this? Everything, all the transformation, data analyst for data scientist, everything you can do in a single place. Will not go into so much detail. So Data Factory and Databricks are not completely driven by AI, but soon they will be. So once Microsoft releases, you should be able to adopt. Okay, getting the clarity, and we have got one more beautiful part about Azure platform is we have got a lot of integrations. We can integrate with any kind of external tools as well, depending on what the demand of your project, where you are working in, what kind of companies you're working on. Okay, so Ismail, I got the clarity on the question you asked.
Yes, I understand.
Okay, fine, maybe right. Okay, we'll take it forward to next level. So now, we got the clarity on this. So now next what we will understand is, right, what are the services or tools to perform this ETL activity? Sometimes it is ETL, sometimes it is ELT. Sometimes we extract, transform, and then load. Sometimes we extract, load, and do the transformation. What scenarios will do ETL? What scenarios will do ELT? We'll discuss about that. And secondly, what are the tools and services what we need to perform complete data engineering? It cannot be performed with a single tool. We need a combination of multiple tools. For storage, we need different tools. For like data transformations, you need different tools. For like big data transformation, we need different tools. For ETL, we need different tools, right? For building pipelines, we need different services like DevOps. So what are this everything needed? So let's discuss about that. Okay, and gradually we'll end up with the projects. What kind of projects we'll be getting now? So far, you got the insight on what data engineering actually is. So now let's get into the tools that is required. So now, what are the major tools that are required? Let's discuss that. First major tool, okay. First category of tools that are required is nothing but tools for doing the ETL transformation. First, at this point, let's pause, okay, and okay, let me ask you one question. What is the difference between an ETL developer and a data engineer? Guys, I want you to answer.
Yeah, ETL developer normally get the source and then transform and they will load into the appropriate database or any data storage. In
Okay.
terms of data engineer, they will also create the pipeline because they'll integrate all other tools as well.
Correct.
Because
You are
they,
right. You are right in your approach. Let's
yeah,
put it across in proper words.
yeah,
ETL developer, as you guys see, he will do the work of extract, transform, load. Okay. So the data engineer will also do this work. Plus, okay, he will handle more of the governance part.
yeah,
Okay, and scalability part. Okay, and deployment part. Right. Okay, and also he takes care of the whole landscape from source to destination, whatever is required. For source to destination in ETL will only do the ETL part. So along with this ETL operations, we need a lot of things, right? Saving the data, storing the data, extracting the data, and different things. All of this extra governance part also is taken care by data engineer. That means data engineer does all the work was that ETL developer does. Plus, along with that, he will have extra responsibilities. Okay. Fine. So that difference you should have. Maybe that question, maybe sometimes most of you guys get confused. Maybe a ETL developer, a data engineer, what is it like? What is the difference between all of it and everything? So ETL, okay. So for ETL, we have got major tools that is why is, and one more thing, why is that we are focusing on Azure? Why not AWS? Because right now the growth rate of Azure is really good. Okay, the growth rate of Azure is far better than any other platform. It is going like this. This is Azure. Okay. AWS, they are the very cloud old players. They are there from the market from like only thing is right. Right now, and one more part is right. Here's Microsoft is the advantage. Microsoft is the top richest company here. Okay, they are pouring money like anything. But AWS, what is happening is right. They have started in the year 2008, very back even before Azure, and right now the graph is going like this of Azure, AWS. Even though market share of AWS is bigger than Azure, but right now the growth rate of Azure is faster. So for example, let me take as an energy. For example, if you know any stock, there is a company called Reliance. Reliance is one of the biggest company in Indian stock market, right? So the growth is, yes, it's good, but like it's a very much reliable growth. But if you want faster growth, what you will pick? You will be picking some like aggressive companies, right? For example, you will be picking companies like in the finance background, like Bajaj Finance, or like some like young companies which are going, the wave is going up. Similarly, whenever you are picking up your career, you need to pick up the career where the wave, the graph is going up. So the possibilities of opening should be very high. Openings should be very high. So that is happening with Azure right now. There is nothing against AWS. No, it's not about AWS is good or like Azure is good. It's all about where you can get good opportunities. Having said that, once you become really good with Azure, gradually you can even master AWS and call yourself as a multi-cloud data engineer. But do not try to put your legs in both the things together. Try to master one thing end to end. Later moment of time, gradually you can even learn or master AWS. Okay, that is all about AWS versus Azure. Okay, now whenever we talk about services, first service is nothing but ETL service. In this we have got Data Factory, okay, Databricks, live streaming, and Synapse Analytics. These are like where we do the extract load transformation. So now the major, one of the top question that is asked in every interview is, what is the difference between Data Factory and Databricks? When do you use Data Factory? When will you use Databricks? Okay, what is the actual usage? Most of them, I can tell you, right, most of the time when we try to ask the interview questions, 95% of the time, okay, most of them do not answer in a very precise mode on this. Okay, so any of you, maybe I would like to answer what is the difference between a Data Factory and Databricks? Both are ETL tools. What is the difference between both of them?
So I would like to answer. This is Muzammil from Hyderabad. So can you hear me?
Yeah, Muzammil, please go ahead. Well, Muzammil, it will be great if you can, guys, if you are interacting for the first time, just give your introduction, quick one-line introduction. What is your background? How many years of experience? So that we also know with everybody knows right what background you are from, so that with what context you are speaking. Okay.
Yeah, so this is Mohammed Muzammil from Hyderabad. I'm working in Amazon as a specialist in operations relay center. So coming back to your question, the difference
So
between
when
data.
you say a specialist in operations, maybe right, it's in is it like more of like IT operations or what is it like?
No, it's a non-technical role. I'm in the maintenance department. We mostly take care of the Amazon vehicles. If
Okay.
they are having any mechanical breakdown, we let the technician work on that and bring those unit back on track for the shipment of the goods and services. Okay. So I think the Azure Data Factory is also a ETL tool, just like a Databricks, but it is like a no-low code. We like suppose if you are creating any pipeline, we just need to drag and drop the services like copy, activity, get metadata,
That
etc.
is what exactly we do in Data Factory. Okay, we'll come to that point. What are the major differences, higher level differences between Data Factory and Databricks?
I feel like it's a no-low code ETL tool, whereas Databricks, like we need to write the code using PySpark, Spark SQL, and it is mostly used with big data. Like if the data size is very high.
Let's go in there. Remember, you are right. You are talking in the right direction. Okay, maybe that's good that you have understanding. So now let's try to understand in little bit detail. Let's maybe what is the major differences between Data Factory and Databricks. Okay, in the left hand side we'll write Data Factory. Okay, and right hand side we'll write Databricks. First and foremost difference. Okay, what you guys need to understand is Data Factory is also a ETL tool. It also performs extract load transformation, and Databricks also does ETL transformation. But whenever we have small scale data, we use Data Factory. What do you mean by small scale data? Any data within GBs. And whenever we have large scale data, that is nothing but big data, right? Whenever we have a huge amount of data, okay, big data. For during that, what is big data? What is the size of the data, guys? Can you guys name? Whenever we have data from terabytes, TBs to petabyte. So this we consider big data. So we use Databricks. These are the major differences. Small, for any time we have got small scale data, we'll be using Data Factory. We have like big scale data or big data, we'll be using Databricks. This is point number one, very important. Okay. And second, with respect to whenever we are dealing with huge amount of data, the processing ability required by that particular tool should be very high. So similarly, Databricks has a higher processing ability. It can process large data and it can tackle queries for a large amount of data. And the processing ability here is low processing. Okay. And right now, whenever we need to do the processing for a large amount of data, it cannot be done with basic SQL, or it cannot be done in the form of Excel. For that, we need a very powerful, okay, scripting language. Which is that? We'll be using Python. Python will be using. When you write Python code on, okay, on where will you write the Python code for big data? You will be writing on, we need some big data processing engines. Big data processing engines. Can you guys name some of the big data processing engines? Okay, like Kafka. Okay, like Kafka is one, and we have got Apache Spark. In our case, we'll be using Apache Spark. Apache Spark. When you write Python code on Apache Spark, okay, engine, okay, Apache Spark notebook, it is called as PySpark.
Jupyter notebook.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, when you write that on the big data processing engine, that is when we call it as PySpark. So we need Python for it. Python knowledge is important, the base. Okay, once you have knowledge on Python, you can, like, even if you do not have a knowledge on Python, not a problem, we'll be helping you learn this. So this is required. Python is required for writing this code. But here, okay, it is no code. No code, okay, is required. I think when Muzamil told, he was right. It is more or less like a drag and drop. Drag and drop. It's simple to use. Okay, it's drag and drop. And one more major difference. So data factory we can use. Data factory we can use to connect. For example, if this is a source. Okay, from connecting with it, it has 90 plus connectors. Data factory has 90 plus connectors. What do you mean by connectors? As you know, the data can be from different sources. It may be from API, website API. It may be from NoSQL DB. It may be a SQL DB. Likewise, multiple databases. So to connect with different databases, we have to 90 plus connectors. Okay. So what does it mean? Data factory can even do the task of data ingestion, but Databricks is only capable of handling big data processing. It is not meant for all of this action. Okay. So along with this, what other differences do we have? Anybody has any other differences apart from this?
So which means Databricks cannot connect multiple data sources.
Yeah. Can you repeat?
No, here that ADF is 90 plus connectors. You said. So
correct.
the ADB is the Databricks will be.
So we don't use Databricks for connecting with the sources. We don't use that.
Okay.
It's like, let me give you one more analogy. For example, at your home, you have got Active Honda also. Okay.
Okay.
The bike, and also you have got a BMW car. Right.
Yeah,
so when will you use the Activa and when will you use this BMW? Okay, for if you need to bring some like vegetables from the market, you'll use your Activa. Correct.
Yes.
For example, if you are planning to go to a long trip, okay, or you have got some like a royal marriage wedding, so you will go with a BMW along with the family, right?
Sure, correct.
The places where we use data factory and Databricks will vary. Okay, we will not use like BMW car to bring vegetables.
Yeah.
You got the difference, right?
Yes, yes.
So that is how we need to decide. Who will decide what service, what tool, or what where should we use this and this or that? That will be decided by data architect.
Okay. So
for
based
example,
on
when you are building a home, there is a, for example, civil engineer will come to your place and they will understand like what is the like you have got a 30-40 land. Okay. So how many storing building you have. Okay. Then once he takes all the requirements, then an architect will design, right, based on materials, budget and everything. Based on that, the developers will start. Correct.
Right.
Similarly, your work comes at the stage number 3.
Okay.
Stage 1 and stage 2 is done by a higher authorities who are at the higher in your hierarchy, who are at the top level.
Okay. Okay.
Once you become more and more experienced, you will also go to the top level.
Sure.
Okay, getting the clarity.
Okay. Yes, yes.
And one more thing is that how do you process the data in data factory? Let me show you that. In data factory, we process the data in the form of batch. What do you mean by batch processing? Here we have got source, we have got destination. Okay. The data is because this has a small processing ability. We'll be processing in the form of batch, like batch number 1, batch number 2, batch number 3.
Kind of
right?
Small amount of
correct, small packets of data.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the processing ability is low, right here.
Yeah.
So similarly, in data fabrics has a higher processing ability. Okay, it can even handle the data, live streaming data from an e-commerce company. Like for example, if you take an example of Amazon, sales are happening every moment, like hundreds and thousands of people, lakhs together people are buying something, right? Forget about that. Let's take an example of Zomato. Do you know how many deliveries Zomato delivers every day? 15 to 20 lakh food deliveries. That means data is like live. It is like very dynamic. So in here, Databricks, we need dynamic stream of data. So the data is processed like a live streaming, like fast and furious. No cuts in between like this. You're understanding this differences, major differences. Okay, so these are the major differences. At the technical level, when you go exactly deep into it, there are more differences. These are the higher level differences. So let's summarize once again what are the major differences. First thing is that data factory we use for small scale data processing. Databricks will be using for large scale data processing. Okay. In data factory, we don't need any kind of coding here. Yes, basic SQL will be required, but for Databricks, we need Python. Okay. That is in the form of PySpark. Okay. Here in the cost and coming to the cost wise, the cost of data factory as a service is less when compared to Databricks. The cost is really high because that is doing higher level processing. Okay. So these are the major differences between data factory and Databricks. Let me show you in the form of image so that you will summarize. Maybe if you guys want, you guys can even take a screenshot of this. Okay. So maybe right. So as you guys can see, this is the major differences when we use data factory and Databricks. If you want, you can take a screenshot. Simple ETL transformation, data factory. Orchestration means scheduling the pipelines. Okay. Okay, batch movement of data for any time when a big data processing, we'll be using data factory. If you need data for machine learning and AI, okay, we'll be not using data factory, we'll be using Databricks. Because for machine learning and AI algorithms, you need to feed large amount of data. Why? Because the more the data you have, the more accurate will be the algorithms. Okay, for any kind of complex transformations like joins, aggregations, ML workload, we'll be using Databricks. And for data engineering on large data sets, as we talked about, terabytes to petabytes, we'll be using Databricks. So this is all about ETL service. That is what we discussed. So along with it, let's see what other services we have. So now we discussed about this. Along with this, in next services, we have got database services and storage services. Database service, what is the difference between database services and storage services? In storage services, we can only store the data, whereas database services, we can even do the transformation. What are the examples for database services? As you can see on the screen, Azure SQL DB for managed relational database service, and second one is Azure Data Warehouse. Okay, this is where the end data is loaded, stores and processes large scale structured data for analytics. And for storage services, we have got ADLS, Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. Okay, that is where we'll do the medallion architecture. Okay, and we also have blob storage. Blob in the sense we'll be storing the data in the form of, it is for also storing the unstructured data. What is unstructured data? Anything in the form of like video, PDF, okay, or like anything, maybe anything which is really unstructured video, PDF, or like comments or like text or anything. So that data will be stored in the form of bits, zeros and ones. The video cannot be stored in the form of rows and columns. It has to be stored in the form of zeros and ones. Okay, that will decide the actual accuracy of the data. Okay, so all of these things, the data format, data sources, we'll be discussing in the initial classes. Not to worry about that part. And when we talk about data factory, it's all about drag and drop. This is how the Azure portal looks like. I've taken the screenshot of it. And as you can see, this is how the look like, drag and drop. This is for a simple data factory operation. This is why on the left, if you can see, there are like a lot of like move and transform, Synapse, Azure Data Explorer, Azure Functions, batch service, database. There are like different services. We can use the services based on a requirement, and we can create the pipeline. This is the pipeline, one of the simple example of one pipeline.
This is exactly looks like a integration service, SSIS.
Yes, more or less like if you have worked on SSIS, it's more or less like a similar way. You'll be able to catch this very soon.
Sure.
Okay.
Hi, Abzal, Anup this side. I have one question here.
Yeah.
So as we can see under these activities, we have so many different types of activities, right? So are we going to cover each one of them or how it is?
Yes. We'll be covering for building the pipelines, whatever the activities are required, everything will cover in here. Okay. So because
so
are
we going to start like, so are we going to start like first we will cover up the concepts and then we will see some small demo?
Yeah, I will tell you, see, at the end of the day, I will talk about the project. See, right now we are talking about the building blocks, what is required for data engineering.
No, I just want to understand. So I just want to understand what will be the teaching approach here. So are we directly going to start for a project? And
no, see, first of all, I will tell you how the approach will be. First thing is that we will be starting with data fundamentals. Okay, data fundamentals means what? Okay, there, as I told you, what is the prerequisite for this data engineer? First of all, you need to understand Python and SQL. Correct. If you know, well and good. If you do not know, we'll help you out in like brushing up those skills of Python and SQL. Along with these things, okay, as we know, when we talk about data, remember when you talk about big data, there are like 3 kinds of data. Like what is the structured data, unstructured data, semi-structured data. We'll be discussing more about that. And along with, apart from that, there are like a lot of more variations of data, right? So we'll be talking about that. What are different data sources? We'll be talking about that. Okay. First, the approach will be first the theory. We'll be learning about theoretical concepts, the architecture of how the project goes, right? And then we'll be starting with practicals. We'll not directly start with the Azure portal.
Okay, got it.
Okay, that because understanding is really important, na?
Yeah.
Why we do it, and because at the end of the day, when you attend the interviews, okay, they will mostly test your conceptual understanding, how well you understand the concepts.
Okay.
Only when you have understand the concept, only then you can work deeply into any kind of project, right? So that thing is like what will be. This is how it will be. And next, okay, maybe as we talked about, this is database service, storage service, and all. Now we'll come to one of the important part about like how the actual project looks like. Okay, what all the different services will be need in any kind of project. We'll discuss about that. Okay, so this is how our projects looks like. So meanwhile, if anybody has any kind of questions, you can put across. If anybody wants, we'll take a pause in between. If any of you wants to introduce, tell about your background and how your profile looks like and how you want to plan, we can even discuss that before going into the next phase of actual project. Now we discussed whatever the different modules are involved in data engineering. Now we'll bring everything together and we'll see how our actual data engineering project in a real-time organization, whether a service-based company like Accenture, TCS, Infosys, or a product-based company like Zomato or like Lead Square, all of these companies looks like. Okay, anybody has any kind of questions? You can, you guys can put across.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, who's that? Muzammil, you are trying to speak Muzammil or Karim?
Yeah, Muzammil. So my question, a quick question from my end. Like right now working in Amazon, let's just say like definitely I want to become a data engineer in the future. How can I convince my interviewer?
So
like,
right now, okay, I will tell you that. Can you tell me like how many years of experience you have, Muzammil?
I have total experience of 6 years.
Okay,
in
6 years.
non-IT.
You are, I think, right, what you said earlier, like you are working as an operations, correct?
Specialist in relay operations center.
Okay, maybe
So,
it's more of a non-IT role, correct?
Non-IT role, yeah.
Okay, maybe
So my
and
question
also
is,
the way
if
you
I
talk.
learn all the if I learn all the services, how can I convince my interviewer that like
I got it. Maybe and also by the way you talk, I also get to know the point that you have also put efforts in learning data engineering by yourself, correct?
yeah, I did self learning. Like it's been more than one.
Yeah, got it.
and a
Remember,
half.
I got it from the way you talk. I get the gist of like way from what space you are talking from. So now, what is your current CTC like?
Afzal, one more thing. Are we going to cover the topics like incremental load, slowly changing dimension 1 and 2?
Yes, we'll we'll even talk about what. Can you tell me what is your current CTC like?
My CTC is very low, 5.5. So
Okay,
that's
you are
why
getting 5.5. Okay,
yeah.
got it. 5.5 LPA in a non-IT role. So only problem with non-IT role, there's nothing against non-IT roles is only because the kind of effort and the hard work you put, you will not be paid equivalently. That is the only problem with non-IT roles. And in
Yes.
IT also there is something called as support roles. Maybe people who are working in support role, okay, you guys maybe they put lot of efforts, morning, evening, rotational shift, day shift, and everything,
Yes.
but they are paid peanuts. So that is the reason, okay, you need to build your career in something which is predominant. It may take a little bit more time for you to be prepared for that role. But once you are prepared for the role, you can be on a highway. Instead of like driving a vehicle, your life in some like small gullies, you have to shift it into highways. That is what, okay, this profiles like data engineers will help you out with. So now when you are trying to become getting to data engineer, Muzammil, main thing is right, out of your 6 years of experience, you have to bare minimum show 2 years or 3 years as a data engineer. So now your next question will be, how will I even show? Right now, my designation on my relieving letter is operations manager or something like this, right?
Yes.
How will I even show? You will say, okay, right now, which company you're working with?
Amazon.
Amazon. So Amazon is a huge company, right? You can tell that Amazon internally in Amazon, okay, there was because Amazon is a huge company, it also has IT department, right? So you can tell
Yeah.
internally there was a requirement in my organization 2 years back where I am working on this project of Azure Data Engineer.
Yeah.
Whatever the projects you'll be working on, you can tell that with the help of IJP. What is called IJP? Internal job posting.
Yes.
Okay. So with the help of it, last 2 years, I am working on it. Okay. Right now, okay, I'm completely working on it. Remember, I gradually have done a transition from a non-IT profile of operation into this. Right now, I want to move into full-fledged data engineering role. So right now, I'm paid. Then what is like you, whatever the 5.5 lakh you are showing on your CTC, this will be converted into data engineering role. So now, when you attend the next interview, okay, this interview guy, what kind of perception he will have about you? You will be getting like you are already a Azure data engineer. Okay. Second thing, you are already getting 5.5 LPA for that. You are good with projects. Okay. You know how to handle different kinds of pipelines. Then you will be given, maybe it will ask you validate your questions, and then in the next job, you'll be giving a hike over this. Bare minimum, I can tell you from 5.5 LPA, you can expect a package in the range of 10 to 15 next.
Moin, I have one
Yeah.
question here.
Okay. Muzamil got the clarity before we move on.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Only see to see your till the time you are going till the package of 25 LPA, you can hikes will be really fast.
Oh, yeah.
25 LPA hikes will be really fast. Once you go beyond 25 LPA, yes, you can definitely get a hike. Then you have to, the approach will differ. You need to add more and more advanced projects.
Correct.
So, Moin,
Understand?
I
This is
have
how
one question here.
this
Sorry
is
to
how the
stop
IT
you.
industry works.
Yeah,
Yes,
sorry.
please go ahead.
So, see, I'm having total 9+ years of experience. I'm currently working as in QA. It includes manual plus automation. So now,
Okay.
when I want to switch my career from QA to this data engineering, right? So
Okay.
I'm already in the my package is already more than 25.
Okay. So okay,
So
you're already
how
getting
many?
25.
Yeah. So how many years of experience I need to show and how it will work
First
for
thing,
me?
let me give you a clarity for this. For your profile, there is something little different. Maybe your how many years of experience you have?
9+ years.
Okay, maybe let's imagine that you are getting 25 LPA. Okay,
Yeah.
you are getting 9+ years of 9 years of experience, and you are working on QA right now. Okay,
Right.
maybe the main reason you are switching to data engineering because QA roles and development roles. Okay, maybe they cannot pay you more than 30 because that is not there in the capacity of any project to pay you more than 30 because that is, and moreover AI is taking over most of this QA and development jobs. It's not that you will lose your job in QA. Only thing is that okay, they will not have a budget more than that.
Okay. Okay.
So that thing. So now, yes, you are planning to get into data engineering. Yes, that's a good plan. Only thing is that when you are planning to go beyond 25 LPA to 30 or 35 or 40 in this line, then along with data engineer, you should also add skills of DevOps.
Okay.
Okay. So how is data engineers and DevOps related? Okay, let me show you one quick summary. Can you see the screen here?
Yeah. Yeah.
1 second. So as you can see, okay, what does a data engineering do? Data engineer builds end-to-end data pipelines on Microsoft Azure platform. But was it Azure DevOps engineer do? Because you're already a part of software development lifecycle. You are into
Right.
testing,
Right.
right? So what does a DevOps do? I think that directly or indirectly, you might have worked on a lot of tools like Git and Jira and a lot of
Right. Right. So it's
right?
basically a CI/CD tool where when
Correct,
we
correct.
want to
So in
move our
DevOps, what we are
pipeline.
doing that we
Yeah.
are okay implementing the CI/CD pipeline on Azure.
Right. Right.
So how will we integrate both the things? Azure DevOps is used in data engineering to deploy and manage data pipelines.
Okay.
We need to deploy the pipelines and manage the pipelines. Deploy the pipelines in the sense for deploying the pipelines, what you do? We'll be using Kubernetes and Docker.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, for managing the pipelines, we'll be using a lot of services like Azure Monitor. Okay. So I hope you are getting the clarity where we use what.
Yeah, and what one more question actually, sorry. Yeah. So as I have already started exploring all these tools like Azure Data Factory and all. Okay. So when I do my research, initial research, so in that I came to know that we have to take the Azure subscription, right?
Yes, yes.
So for first 30 days it will be free, right? What after that? We have to
Okay,
convert
one
that.
thing. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good question. what you asked. Okay, one thing is that first month it will be free. So as
Right.
you know, right, in data engineering, we'll be using different services, right?
Right.
We'll be using different services. Like some services will be costing more, some services will be costing you less,
Mm-hmm.
right? So for
Right.
example, when you are working, first month will be free. Second month, when you're working with okay, services like Data Factory, ADLS and all, you will be
Mhm.
charged in the range of 300 to 500 rupees. What I meant to say is that you have to minimum have a budget of 500 rupees per month. When working on, okay, the services like Data Factory and other services. But when you work on like high processing services like Databricks, then your minimum required budget will be around like 700, 800 or up to 1,000 rupees per month.
Okay, because
What am I to say that
I
this is
tried it
what
once. Actually, I tried this one once. I converted my account into pay as you go, and the billing was like
that will help you out. See, Azure will charge you, any cloud platform will charge you for what you sustain there, right?
okay,
The
okay,
we will be deleting and then and there itself. Will not try to sustain there, right? At the end
okay.
of the day, you need a simulation how to work on it. You may
Mm-hmm.
not have to store like TBs of data and keep it for 3 days, right? So
Right.
you will be deleting the services there and there itself. Will not sustain that. Do not worry about that.
Okay, so we will use service and we will delete that one, right?
Correct. Delete the services. We'll tell you the approach. See, at the end of the day, how to save the cost. Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
How we approach with Azure portal and all that plan of action will give you that. So I do
Okay,
understand if you try it by your own, you will minimum have to spend 10, 20,000 to even just to practice.
right, right. Because
That that
I have paid like 3,000 something as my first billing.
that's what you have just tried now. If you keep on trying more, like you will go till like 15, 20,000.
Okay, so just to avoid that, what I need to do is like I just need to delete my resource group, right?
Yes, yes. You have to delete once this thing is done. We will guide you on that. Do not worry about that. Okay.
Okay, okay, got it.
Oh, fine, guys. We'll get into the project and then okay.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, guys, just give me 1 minute. Just put across your questions in the chat box. 1 minute.
Hello, I'm audible. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, he's not right now available. I think you can put your question in the chat box.
Yeah, Maybe can you be a little louder?
Yeah, I'm audible right now.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so myself, Piyush, I have completed my graduation in 2020, and afterwards have completed a PG diploma course in Big Data Analytics from CDEC Chennai. And afterwards, due to some reasons, I couldn't get the job. Now I'm searching for job. So is it a good thing for me
So
to
maybe right,
join?
you have not worked anywhere so far.
No, I haven't worked anywhere.
Okay, so maybe right, when did you graduate?
Yeah, 2020 graduate, but due to Corona, I got my
Okay,
exams
say
are
one thing.
covered on
One thing is for
2021.
sure for those who have a gap, okay, career gap, because whatever reason it may be. First thing is right, you have to fill the gap, okay, with the projects. How do you fill the gap? Option number one, okay, is you can show that you have worked as a freelance cloud consultant where you manage this data engineer projects. Okay, whatever the projects you do in the training, you will be converting into freelance project. You can create some like freelance accounts in like platforms like freelance.com. Okay, there are a lot of freelance platforms will help you out with that. Option number one. Option number two, you can create some experience documents. Okay. And we do not do that. If you want, we can help you out in referring to some vendors. We can help you out with experience document. Okay, where they will give you experience as a data engineer with some XYZ package with salary
Uh,
slips, all of it.
yeah,
Okay.
that's the thing. But so I want to know, like, I'm using just like a experience of 2 years. The interviewer will ask me those types of question
Yes,
for
that
that
is what
2 years.
minimum 2 years of experience to that level of answers you'll be able to give with this approach of training what will help you out.
So
Okay.
you will be training us like that.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, we'll guide you on the scratch. Do not worry about that. Okay.
And
But
sir,
with experience documents and all, connect with the team. They will help you in more detail. Okay.
okay, sir. Actually, no one called me. Actually, I just
Yeah,
want
maybe
to
right.
know.
आपको अभी right now you have registered, right? Okay. Or
Yes,
else
sir.
do one thing. I'm just writing my number 9900136885. Okay. Just text me on WhatsApp with what your requirement is. I will forward to the team. They will connect with you. Okay. And also, maybe you guys can say this number. Maybe if you have any kind of questions, maybe most of the questions will be resolving here only. If you have more things where you cannot discuss here, if you want to discuss offline, you can WhatsApp me on this number, whatever. Like you can just say that. First thing. Okay. Now let's go back into this project. So now we understood everything about data engineering, all of it. Now we'll try to get into what kind of exact kind of projects happens, and we'll also try to understand when you use Data Factory, Databricks in the real-time approach. Okay. First thing. First step is data ingestion. As you know, whenever there is data ingestion, will be majority of the time, 95% of the project will be using Data Factory, Azure Data Factory, and in few places, okay, we'll be using Azure Event Hubs. We'll not talk about more of Azure Event Hubs because there is not much of scope. Okay, but Data Factory is what is of more scope. First thing. So as you know, Data Factory can do two things. What are the two activities what Data Factory can do? Guys, what we discussed so far? Can you guys answer? Number one, it can connect with 90 plus sources of data. 90 plus connectors. Like with source number one, SQL. Okay, like with source number two. Like with this can connect with different sources of data. This is first activity. Second activity, what can it do?
Batch by batch processing.
Correct. It can batch processing. It can do. It can transform. It can do the transform for what kind of data? Small scale data. Correct.
ETL operation.
Yeah, ETL operations for small scale data. So now the data what we have here, we have two kinds of data here. One is we can even have small scale data that is in the some form of GBs or less than that, or we have got large scale data, right? So now I want you guys to answer. So whenever there is a small scale data, okay, extracted from here, Data Factory will immediately do the transformation then and there itself. Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
It will do the transformation because it is capable of doing the transformation for small scale data, right? So now that is one level. So now if the data is large scale, now it can extract the data of large scale data, but can it do the transformation for large scale data?
No.
No. So now for that means whatever the data it has transformed for small scale data, that data is already transformed. It is fully structured. That data will be stored in the gold layer here. What is this gold layer? This is nothing but ADLS, Azure Data Lake Storage. Here, the data is stored in three layers: bronze layer, silver layer, and gold layer. What is bronze layer? Unstructured, unprocessed data. Right now, we have got data of like the large scale data, which is just extracted. That is, no transformation is done. Okay, to which layer this data will go? Large scale data to bronze layer. Getting the clarity? So now,
No, can you repeat again?
So what I meant to say is, right? So now, okay, first kind of we have small scale data, small amount of data. So that transformation is also done with Data Factory, correct?
Correct.
Transformation is already done. It is fully processed, data cleaning, data processing, everything is done. So now it has to be stored in one clean layer. For example, if you have some like rice, if you have like full bag of rice, so now there is a rice which I have like cleaned, okay, and you will be storing in a separate place, right? Clean place. Similarly, when the data is completely processed and clean, that you will be storing in a clean place, that is gold layer. Okay, so now in one scenario, let's take a large scale data. The data which is not processed, like large scale data, this Data Factory cannot do the processing here. We can just extract the data and like store it here, store it in one layer that is called bronze layer.
Okay.
So where will it do the transformation from bronze layer? This will be done by Databricks.
So bronze layer, it can contains unstructured data.
Like let me give you a clarity on this. First of all, you got the clarity of Data Factory. Now let's go to this. Okay, ADLS. That is okay. How to store the data in three layers: bronze, silver, and gold. This architecture of storing the data is called as medallion architecture. We'll discuss on this in a detailed thing. Let me show you like how this architecture looks like. So can you see this? If you guys want, you can take a screenshot of this. Okay, data lake storage stores the data in different layers. Bronze layer stores raw unprocessed data as received. Okay, then at the extreme, gold layer stores fully processed business ready data. But what will the silver layer do? If, for example, if some sort of a cleaning is done there, okay, semi-processed data, semi-clean data, okay, that is stored in silver layer. Got the clarity? Bronze,
Yeah.
silver, gold. Gold, anywhere when you have a gold standard protein powder or gold standard means that is the highest quality. Right? This is how the data is stored. And what is Delta Lake? And whenever we store the data on like Data Lake, we need to do the transformations very quickly. For example, when you write any kind of Python query or like a SQL query, okay, so you have it has to do the it has to give you the results instantly. For that, we'll be using Delta Lake. As you can see, enhances Data Lake with the optimized storage and faster query performance. Okay, I hope you got the clarity. So now again, we'll go to this project Data Factory. We extracted the data here and then we stored the data into ADLS. Okay, and we did it, and we have only transformed like small scale data and we have stored in like gold layer. So now there's unprocessed big data or large scale data. Where we have stored now? They are stored in bronze layer, correct? So
Yes.
from bronze layer, now we have got this big guy, that is Databricks. Okay, now Databricks will pick up the data from here and do the processing of ETL transformation of big data.
I have one doubt here.
Yeah.
So small scale of data, ADF can process, right? So
Yes,
where could
it can process? That's what small scale data. It has already processed and we have already stored in gold layer here.
Okay, so small kind of process data and large scale of cleaned data, it will be stored in gold layer.
Yes, large scale of clean, fully processed, only business ready data, which we can pass on to the next layer, next team, like data and scientist team. Very business ready. Nothing more is left in that.
Okay, fine.
I think if you guys go to gym and all, if you guys use protein
Yeah,
powder,
that
there
I
is like
understand.
different
Yes.
layers, concentration layer. Okay, then we have got like isolate. Okay, then we have got hydrolyzed. Right?
Yes.
Different layer of filtration. At the end of the day, what is this protein? Whey protein. So it's extracted from milk. Okay, so that is how, that is what the processing of data we do here.
Right.
Okay, got it right. So now the Azure Databricks will pick up the large scale data from here. Okay, and do the transformation with the help of Apache PySpark, and where we'll be using PySpark and all of it. Okay, it does this, and after this, from here, whenever you need data, okay, for Azure machine learning algorithms, we cannot feed the data from like Data Factory, because Data Factory can only deal with small scale data. Okay, for like large scale data, the output of Databricks only can be given as an input to machine learning algorithms. Why can't we give like small scale data to this like machine learning? Why not?
The prediction
Why can't we
won't
give it?
because in the less data, the prediction won't be accurate, no?
Correct. So at the end of the day, whenever you talk about machine learning, we only talk about accuracy. The more data we have, the more accurate the algorithm will be. Like, for example, when you started using ChatGPT and in 2023, the year end, it was not giving more accurate answers. Now present version of ChatGPT, how powerful is it? Similarly, the more and more data that this GPT model gets, the more perfect and more precise the answers will be. Okay, that is how the machine learning algorithms work. And Power BI is a part of data analyst team. Then you feed the data, they pick the data from here. And why do we need Kubernetes? For deployment, continuous deployment. So this is how the project structure work. And Synapse Analytics is a big data processing or also small data processing we can do here. With this Synapse Analytics nowadays, that most of the projects are not using much, but however, we'll give the insight about that. Most of the projects are focusing on Data Factory, Databricks, and they are focusing on the DevOps part, how to do the CI/CD deployment and everything. So this is how the actual project works like. And these are the destinations. Okay, at the end, serve. As you can see, ingest, transform, and serve. This is the destinations here. In the destination, okay, there are two examples that I can more destinations will be like data scientist team, machine learning, or like data analyst team. This is Power BI is also part of data analyst. Okay, all of these things are the destinations. So now this is the body of the project. This is how the data engineering project looks like. Okay, now this is the body. Like it's like you have.
I one question.
Yeah.
This data cleaning, in data processing.
Your voice is not clear. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Jayant,
This,
your audio is not clear. Just increase your audio and just ask your question.
okay, wait. Now it's okay.
Still, it's not clear, but however, you can proceed.
Yeah. This data is coming from just like Ola or Uber.
Yeah.
In which form? SQL or
It can be from different form. It can be from different forms. Maybe like there's a varieties of sources of data in various forms. All
so
of that,
this various
yeah,
form
all of
data.
that will be dealt at the ingestion stage here.
All this data will be stored in
Sorry?
SQL or stored in Azure. What you are saying? This data is
Yes,
stored
yeah, that data or everything will be stored in this, okay, this ADLS, whether it's processed, unprocessed, whether it's in the form of video, whether it's in the form of like images, whether it's like social media, everything will be stored in data lake. That is the reason it's like a wide data. It's a scalable service here. Scalable data storage services. Okay, then from here we pick it up and do the transformation and do the further process. Okay, do not worry. Maybe what you asked is like you will understand as and when you get in the gradual classes, you will be understanding more. Okay, so now what I'm trying to say is right.
So in this flow, so
yeah, Ismail you can ask your question. Okay, let's finish up. Let's finish up the flow. Let's like final thing. I just need to present
okay, okay.
About the DevOps part, how this DevOps is integrated. After that, you can ask any kind of questions. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, fine. So now what we're trying to like, this is like, for example, everything is fine. Maybe right, you have the project has a heart, project has a brain, project has lungs, everything is there. But if there is no oxygen, will you survive? No. Similarly, for this project to survive, okay, you need, okay, additional services. There are nothing but monitoring and governing services. These are the services. Okay, Azure Purview, Azure DevOps, Azure Key Vault, Azure Active Directory, Azure Monitor, and Azure Cost Management. Let's try to understand what is this each and every aspect does. Let's give a clarity on that. Then you will understand this. So now Azure Purview. What is Azure Purview? Provides data governance and security policies. What exactly does it mean? For example, just imagine that you got a job as a data engineer. Okay, in HDFC Bank. Now HDFC follows all the policies of data saving and storage from where? Whose policies? Who is the leader? Who governs HDFC? That is governed by RBI, Reserve Bank of India. The way the data has to be stored, what customer data can they retrieve, what not to be retrieved, that policies will be governed by RBI. Right? That policies will be inbuilt in, added in Azure Purview. So this is nothing but Azure Purview. Next, Azure DevOps. Okay. Next, we talk about Azure DevOps. What we do in Azure DevOps here? Okay, as I told you, we will be building and automating CI/CD pipeline. We'll be deploying this data pipe workflows. Okay, managing and deploying this data workflows in Azure DevOps. So what are the things? See, what I'm telling, right? If you want to build a very strong project, then you can even learn this DevOps also. Let me show you what all things. If you are going with both the things, what all things you'll be learning in DevOps. Okay, so this is how the flows goes. So in DevOps, whenever you are trying to get into DevOps, for that, what all things we need? We need Active Directory first. What is Active Directory? Active Directory is nothing but, for example, right now you're working on Azure Data Engineering. We will be only focusing on data engineering services, the Data Factory, Databricks, and all of it. But do you know how many services does Azure has? Azure has around like 300 to 400 services. So that all things will not be talking about in the data engineering part, because that will take this thing. So if you want to master even that, we'll be covering in this Azure Fundamentals and Azure Admin, where we'll be learning about Azure Portal, what Azure is all about. What there are like 3 different categories of service. That is like infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. Okay, what are this? All of these things, the fundamentals of cloud, foundational concept of cloud. Okay, what do you mean by Azure? Azure storage. What do you mean by Azure virtual machines? How to create resources? How to create resource groups? Okay, how to work on Azure Active Directory, now authentication management, right? How to access management and all. How to work on ARM templates. Okay, how to work on different kind of this. You will be learning in level 1 and level 2. Once you finish this, you'll be getting to DevOps. Before getting to DevOps, here we don't need any kind of coding here. You will be learning Linux. Okay, you will be learning Linux because Linux is more secure operating system. You'll be learning about this. Along with this, you'll be learning scripting. So why do we need scripting? For automation, like PowerShell scripting and YAML scripting. Once that is done, you will be getting into projects of building CI/CD pipeline. How to deploy an application, you'll be even learning that. How to deploy the workflows, okay, data pipelines, will be learning this. And you'll be working on tools like Kubernetes or Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, okay, Terraform, all of it. And then you'll be learning the solution architect, how to design the solutions and implement the solutions. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you is that yes, with data engineering, yes, you can even get a job as only with data engineering also. But nowadays, even the companies are even expecting you to have DevOps skills. Okay, if you want to go full-fledged, then you need to learn, okay, Azure DevOps, ADV, and ADE combined. If you want to build a full-fledged profile, okay, of like end-to-end, so that right, nothing, you are not missing anything for that. So that is what the insight is. This is how the flow will be. Okay, with this, for example, when you go with both the approaches, in data engineering, you can apply for data engineering job roles, okay, business intelligence developer, like the different variations of job role you can apply. Okay, along with that, okay, when you go with the DevOps approach also, you'll be even eligible to apply for this job roles as well. Azure DevOps engineer, CI/CD specialist, DevOps consultant, automation engineer, and everything. You can either apply for individual job roles or combined job roles. That is how it goes. If you want details about this thing, I have shared in the chat box. You can just share the link. You can save it. You can just go through it later on. Okay. I'm just trying to give whatever the time we have got. In that, I'm trying to give best of the clarity. Then you got about Azure DevOps. Now Azure Key Vault. Whenever you are trying to say, maybe you guys watch a lot of when you watch Hollywood movies, they talk about vault, secret, source, treasure hunt, okay, and all. Right. In that, sharing the secret credentials, okay, that is done in Azure Key Vault. Okay, then comes Azure Active Directory. I talked about it. That this will be covered in Azure admin part. What is Azure admin part? Of what is Active Directory? For example, if you are an admin of any kind of a Facebook page, so you have the authority to set who can post, who can comment, who can waive everything. Similarly, we are using so many services here. Data Factory, we are using more than 20 plus services when you are working with data engineering and DevOps. So if you join, this is the organization section. This is your team lead, and under him there are like 20 members working. This is one among it. You are also might be this thing and all. Who will be as soon as you join? Do you think they will be giving you access to everything, Data Factory, Databricks, and everything? No, they will only give you access to whatever is required. They might even give you access to only Data Factory. So how is this access management managed? What services in Azure portal can you access? That is managed in Azure Active Directory. Got the clarity? Yes, no? Okay, fine. So next, what is Azure Monitor? So at the start, I told you, like on any kind of data engineering project, how many pipelines will we have?
We have multiple, right?
300 to 500. So now these pipelines will be not built by a single person. There will be a team of 20 people will be working on different pipelines, correct? So now, do you think is there a guarantee that all the 500 pipelines will be perfect? They will not fail at all. It can fail, right? Out of 500 pipelines, there might be some unlike 90 pipelines might be failing here. What is the reason of this failure? Okay, who has built this pipeline among these 20 people? Okay, whose pipelines are failing? For monitoring all of these things, we need one tool, monitoring tool. That is nothing but Azure Monitor, which tracks the performance, detects the issues, and logs activities. What is logs the activities? For example, when you do a calling on your phone, so whom we have called when everything is activities log, call logs, right? Whether it was an outgoing call or whether it was an incoming call, whether it was it from a SIM 1 or SIM 2. Similarly, which pipeline is failing and what issues are there? For example, why is this pipeline failed? Was it because of like some activities in Data Factory or Databricks, or whether because of like some like queries that has filled in like PySpark? Everything activities can be logged here. Getting the clarity? For that, we need Azure Monitor. See, what I'm trying to say is that this is what the difference between an ETL developer and data engineering is. An ETL developers only does the job of ETL and like he goes home. But data engineer, his responsibility is more. That is the reason a data engineer at the beginner, if anybody is a beginner, you guys can expect in the package of 8 to 12 LPA. And if you are experienced, you can expect in the range of 15 to 45 LPA. This is the kind of CTCs the companies are taking because it's not straightforward, simple, overnight, come and do easy peasy kind of work. It will require, remember, it might be a little bit challenging at the start when you adopt. Once you work for like 3 to 6 months, once you become a normal for you, it's like nothing. It is like very stuck, a very like smooth operating job. So this is all about Azure Monitor. Then comes what? Azure Cost Management. Why do we need cost management? So remember, no, the company will not spend how much ever you want, right? So remember, we are using so many Data Factory, Databricks, Synapse Analytics, so many services, Active Directory, and so many services we are using. Just because company is giving you money, can you spend everything? No, there is a budget management, right? What services, when we have to use? Okay, how do we monitor the spending? How to optimize the resources when we have to use Data Factory? For example, for data transformation, if we can use Databricks for everything. For example, if you are using your BMW car, even for small things, then remember it will be the durability of the car will go away and you will run up with like more number of scratches and it will be like, it is not suitable and it will cost you, petrol will cost you really high. Similarly, if you start using for every small transformation, if you are using this Databricks, okay, where we can use Data Factory, then the cost will be high. Then you are wasting your company's amount. How will you monitor all of it? That is done in Azure Cost Management and Billing part. This knowledge also will be discussed in where will be discussed all of this. Okay, this will be discussed in this part of this line. Okay, this line will be discussing all of it. Again, this is a full-fledged. I'm not telling that you should know everything. But if you want to build your profile in a full-fledged way, you can go with that approach. Or if you want to only stick with data engineering, you can only stick with data engineering. I'm giving you very smart and very intelligent approach. Okay, I'm not like if you know this has to be done or not. You have to, this is your decision. How you want to build your career and plan your career. Okay, I'm giving you plus and minus of both. Okay, what you have to plan, what you need to get into, you have to think about it and decide. Okay, I hope you guys are getting the clarity.
Yes.
Okay, so what is what, where what is connected, how these services are connected, because most of the data engineering, okay, data engineering programs will only end up with this. This part is done. Okay, if the deployment is then nothing, maybe we do not know. So maybe it will even extend to this services also. Got it? This is how everything, all of these things, everything, whatever you are doing, everything is in where we are doing under Microsoft Azure. That is why it is Azure Data Engineer. Once you master this, okay, if you want to even learn AWS Data Engineer, okay, you will be able to do that as well. Okay, there will be little bit differences. What are the differences between AWS and Azure? So maybe let me tell you it. For what do we call for storage in AWS? Anybody? What do we call for storage space in
AWS?
S3
buckets, I guess.
Correct. We call it a S3 bucket. What do we call the same thing in like Azure? We call it Azure storage. Correct.
Azure storage. Okay.
So what do we call for virtual machines in AWS? What do we call for virtual machines in AWS?
Channels. Oh.
EC2. Right. What do we call it in? We call EC2. Okay. What do we call for the same thing? Okay. In like Azure, we call it Azure VM. So these are the small things. What I'm trying to say is that once you master one data engineering and one DevOps line end to end, okay, mastering AWS or even GCP, okay, it's you just need to spend around like 10 to 20% extra effort in again, understanding the terminologies. Rest everything will be easy. Okay, smooth for you because you're already doing the hard work with Azure. Okay, getting the clarity?
Yes.
Okay, this is all about how the flow will be. Okay, and how the classes will be. Remember it. If you guys are looking for evening classes, remember it. I'm telling you. Let me tell you.
And say I have one doubt initially I was.
Yeah.
Yes. So in this first part, point number one, can you zoom in this left corner?
This part like event hub.
Yeah, above one. That
Okay. This.
theory content. That yes, Azure SQL.
Okay. This part is it.
So
This part.
no. No, actually. So in this, which step we are going for work with Azure SQL DB and all?
This. Okay. Data services is it? One second. You are talking about, I think, different kinds of services. This part is it Azure database services and storage services?
Yes.
Okay, this part, Azure SQL DB and all. We'll be using that for a transformation of data internally, SQL queries. We should also, we talked about like we should also have knowledge on SQL, right?
Okay.
So we'll also do the transformations on by using SQL also. That you'll be not using like normally when you're a SQL developer, what you'll do, you have to install the SQL setup on your system and you have to do, correct? So now you need not have to do everything. Well, Azure is already providing the inbuilt service, right?
Yeah.
So when Azure is providing we will be using the services provided by Azure.
Okay.
Got it? No? I think this is what you asked for, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll discuss about that also. How it's
Moin, one more question here. Are we going to see that scenario where we are going to pull up data from on-premises?
Yes. Everything. See, we'll be using like, let me show you how the actual, I will show you the recordings of like all the classes. So everything will be real time. How do you put up the data? And also we'll be creating the simulation. See, we cannot get the real time data. Okay. But we can create the simulation of it. For example, at the source, okay, we can trigger the Python scripts where we have like real time data getting generated. All right.
Okay.
So that kind of scenarios and all we'll discuss. I will even show how the actual classes will be, or like, yeah.
So you will be give the assistance of doing the certification also for this, right? Microsoft.
Yes. Which certification will be doing this? Can you tell me? Certification, yes, will do. I want to just to know from your side which certification will be doing with this program. We discussed at the start.
Yeah. Okay.
Which one?
No, just.
I think that is DP 203, I guess. For
DP 203 is deprecated by Microsoft. March 31st was the last date.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, that is no longer. If I am still wondering, maybe right, I am seeing maybe sometimes I see the ads with most of the organization. I'm not saying what kind of programs they run. So they are even telling in their like ads and all DP203 is covered. That is already removed by Microsoft. What kind of outdated programs will be taken? So now, right now, okay, see one thing I will tell you. Certificate DP203 was had weightage. Right now we have got DP700, that is Microsoft certified Fabric Associate. If you do that, well and good. Even if you do not do, there is no loss. Okay, if you will have some weightage to do, even if you do not know, it's not that you will not be able to get a job.
And there is one more, I guess, 900, right?
That is data fundamentals. Even if you do DP 900.
Okay.
DP 900 is for data fundamentals, but if you do or don't do, it will not have, because you are not applying for any beginner jobs. Correct.
Right.
So why do you want to waste your money? And like, if you are curious enough, try to do that. But if you are getting the vouchers from your companies, free vouchers, yes, for the sake of confidence, you can do that, or else not required. For DevOps, I can suggest you some like good weightage. This thing for DevOps, what we have got. Let me show you. In DevOps, we have this AZ400 is there. No, this has a very good weight. Microsoft Certified DevOps Engineer. This is expert level certificate. This AZ900, AZ104 and like basic to intermediate. Not fundamentals. Not required. See, when you have got one thing you need to understand, you have to make the best use of your time. Just because you can do that, those don't keep on writing all the certifications. Focus your energy for what is required. Do you guys know 80-20 rule? What is 80-20 rule say? Pareto principle, 80-20 rule. What is saying, right? The 20% of the effort, what you put smartly, okay, will give you the credit for 80% of the work. Correct or wrong?
Yeah.
In your current job, whatever the work you are doing, just analyze that. For the 20% of the job, what you do, you'll be getting 80% of the reward, right?
Yeah.
You have to work smartly. It's not like, okay, all the 100 things. If this is like proven 80-20 rule. Maybe just Google for 80-20 Pareto principle. Watch some like YouTube. This is like proven data that is like psychologists and like top brain scientists have released how the world runs.
Moin,
Okay.
question here.
Nice.
Yeah. So some of my colleagues are already working as a data engineer, and from them I came to know that they have started performing POC on the fabric side. Okay. So now what they want to do, whatever they were doing till now in data engine in ADF and using that Databricks and Synapse, right? So they are now trying to perform all those things in fabric. Okay. So how it is integrated? I mean, how it is
Hey, one thing you need to understand. Okay,
Mhm.
first of all, you need to understand how the evolution happened. Okay, that
Okay.
Fabric is a new service. Okay,
Mhm.
all of a sudden, no project will directly jump into Fabric.
That is true.
For,
That is true.
for example, see, 1990. This is when industrial revolution started. This is when IT companies started booming in US. Right?
Mhm.
USA, and slowly it also came to India. This is when the first website and internet started, and the first mail. When was the first email sent? It was in the year 1961. This was email. Okay, this is when gradually, okay, the application started building. People before that they were only using physical modes of doing business. Later moment of time they started using internet for it, and later moment of time 2000s and all. And at the start with that, when we talked about data, first there was something called as Excel, right? Even though Excel is used right now for it and Excel, then SQL, right? And then okay, we came across some like big data, right? Whenever we have big data, we need like there was something called as Hadoop. Hadoop is not much in scope right now. Okay, Scala, okay, like PySpark, okay, Kafka, all of this. Among this, PySpark is most prominent. That is what we are using. After that, for big data objects, we are and then after this, we are using PySpark for big data transformation. After this, again, we are using now Cloud came for data engineering, and then we have got okay main recent services of Azure. Like then came Data Factory. After Data Factory had a limitation. It could not do the transformation for big data. So then came Databricks. Okay. In between, Synapse Analytics also came. That is going out of scope a little bit. And right now we have got Data Fabrics. So now most of the projects are in this. And we are also using this. Just because the new service or something has come, all of a sudden overnight will not shift to this. Right? Because it has a limitation. Fabric is just evolving. It's at the beta stage. What do you mean beta? It's not completely evolved. It's just experimentation stage.
Okay, yeah, understood.
You got the clarity, right?
Yeah.
So right now, let me give you one more analogy for it. For example, right now there are still companies, okay, who are working maybe at old programming language like C, C++, or Ruby, or like all of this. These are like all like old, very old programming language. I have come across even projects who are using this now. These are called as legacy projects. I have one of my friend who is a team like technical head in Philips. Okay, Philips. So he said that maybe at Philips, but they know Philips is a company where they produce different kinds of electronic gadgets. For that programming, for the legacy, they have a legacy projects there. The legacy projects are still using the C, C++ and all. For that also they do the recruitment. Even though there is a lot of latest programming languages have come, some projects will still be using it. What I meant to say is that IT industry will not immediately shift to the new things. What is happening? Because the companies are investing crores together in the existing projects. They cannot shift it into like new technologies overnight. It gradually happens. Right? Getting the clarity, Anup?
Yeah, got the
So
clarity.
what we'll do, we'll follow the blended approach. See, at the end of the day, our agenda is to whatever we learn here, you should be able to clear interviews in the job market in current date. Right. Having said that, we are not using ignoring the old approaches. We are not even encouraging new approaches. We'll have a blend of both. Okay. And with respect to classes, maybe right. So if you guys are looking for evening, so today is Thursday. Okay. The first in the, evening class will be like Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Okay. It will be 9:30 to 11 p.m. And one more thing, you will be mentored by senior data engineers, okay, who are already getting around like 40, 50 plus, or like somebody even 60 LPA kinds of CTCs at a very top level. These are the kind of, okay, experts, okay, because that is the reason we are keeping the classes in the late nights or in the early mornings, because, okay, you'll be mentored by working professionals. These are the evening slot. If you're looking for mornings, then it will be like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6 to 7:30 a.m. Okay, these are the slots. More details on slots, connect with the team. They will help you, okay, more on this aspect.
Okay with the 9:30 to 11. Yep.
Yes.
And what will be the duration for this complete stack?
So I can tell you approximately, it will take around like 3.54 months, but I can, if you want, but for you, if you are planning to attend interviews, you can attend interviews after completion of Data Factory itself.
Okay.
As I told you, my break will be covering, first we'll be starting with Data Factory, projects on Data Factory. Okay, after this only you can attend to. Second, Databricks, project on Databricks. Synapse and project on Synapse, then Fabrics, and then finally end-to-end project.
Okay, fine, good.
Got it. And one more thing, to make your learning holistic, okay, what we will do is, right, we will give you, okay, materials and recordings of different experts. For example, okay, right now we have got one expert from who is working in Publicis, you know, the product-based company, right? Publicis is in Hyderabad, okay? So he's working at a package of around like 52 LPA, okay? So this trainer's recording classes also you'll be getting once you enroll, full access. And one more mentor, he is working as a senior data architect in Bangalore, okay? His materials also you will be getting. And one more expert will be, she is working in like Mumbai, okay, with 17 plus years of experience, to whom like data scientists and data analysts and all of data engineer team report to her. So this kind of like different experts, okay, experience, okay, you will be getting, okay, because right, when somebody is already a 15 plus years of experience, when they have reached to the mark of like 40, 50 kind of LPA, it's not a small thing, right? That has lot of like ingrained experience compressed. Okay, this will be delivered to you in the span of like 3-4 months, and not one expert will be giving you, okay, the materials and classes of different experts. Let me, as I show you one class, okay, and then as I showed you some materials and recordings of this. As you can see, this is delivered one of the mentor who is from Hyderabad. Okay, as you can see, the classes how like the first data pipeline. Okay, introduction to ADF, CSV to SQL, get metadata, class, then mapping. Okay, join classes, simple transformation. Okay, each and every class will be structured like this. Then like Databricks classes. How is this? Class number 4. We're working on Python. I told you that before getting into Databricks, we should have a knowledge on Python. We'll be covering Python here. Python. Okay, SQL basics. Okay, how do you do this? Transformations here. See, as you can see, as you talked about, like we'll also talk about like how we deploy this pipeline into by using DevOps. We have discussed here CI/CD and pandas, numpys and all, and data sets. What kind of different data sets will be using here? Materials and all will be attaching. This is how the classes structure. Okay, getting the clarity?
Yes. So we can, if we, well, see, when we working, sorry, when you work out of the last class means, so if you have anything doubts, so how
yes, you will be, say, first thing is that this is not recordings. This is like live classes you'll be taking, correct? Yes. Recordings are shared for your reference so that you can prepare in advance, and there'll be a WhatsApp group. You can ask any kind of questions. Okay. And every class at the start and end, there will be ample amount of time that will be given to you for us to ask questions. Even if the start, that is the reason we are keeping at the end of the day, 9:30 p.m. to 11. So that right, even if there is little bit extra, we are not hurrying.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, like
Right.
Linux, I don't know. Will this help?
Sorry, Satish, can you repeat?
Linux.
See,
like,
Linux, yes, will help you out with this. If you are going in the combination of, okay, as if you are even, remember, it's, as I told you, right, it's, if you want to go full-fledged, you have to even go with DevOps part, right? If you are going with this, we'll be covering Linux, PowerShell scripting, YAML scripting, for the CI/CD, all of these things will be covered. Okay. So there is nothing you should learn and come. Okay, only thing what I'm expecting from you guys, you should have a good logic. You should come with logic. For example, when you attend any kind of interviews, okay, maybe at first, as a fresher, first, what is the first round? What do they conduct? Aptitude round. Why aptitude round? To check how you think logically, your logical thinking. Correct?
Yes.
This we cannot teach. Okay, this logic, common sense is something you need to carry, bring with. I hope all of you here, the way you interacted, everybody has crossed this phase. You are like beyond this phase. So the only thing is that now how to apply this logics into this Azure Data Engineering plus DevOps. That is what we'll be learning. Okay. Fine. I think you guys have already my number. If you have any kind of questions, you can put across. And meanwhile, okay, if you guys want to see some interview questions, okay, maybe right. Let me show that how the actual interview questions, like this is how the classes will be structured as I'm sharing you live class. Like this batch started in the month of February, March. Okay, it's like 70-80% of the classes is done. Okay, some like final 20%. This batch will be completing in the month of May 30th. Okay, this will be wrapped up. In this, I think, right, I think like 20-30% of the participants have already got the job, even though they are not completed the whole of this thing, because after Data Factory and all, they have attended the interview. So let me show you some like interview questions, how the interview questions will be asked.
Hi, Afzal. This is Prasanna. So
Yeah,
I have a
Prasanna.
question regarding the CI/CD and the other deployment parts. So
Yeah.
are we going to cover it only the Azure part, or do we have a different kind of tools we are going to?
See what happened is for doing CI/CD will be one more or less following Azure approach. But and as I said, you're right, Azure is not stubborn. It doesn't say that you have to use only our services. Okay, it also allows you to integrate with other tools and services.
Yes.
Okay, so, we'll even give you an idea about that.
Okay.
How to, for example, Ansible is not an integral part of like Azure. We'll be talking about Ansible, how to work on like work on Ansible playbooks and everything, right? Okay, Azure has something Kubernetes. Azure has got inbuilt. That is called as AKS, Azure Kubernetes Service.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That thing and all will discuss.
Okay. And we are going to discuss on the testing part as well. So once the pipeline was created and all those.
See, testing, okay, implicitly, okay, you will not be doing. It will be done by testing team. Okay, as a DevOps engineer, you are only building the pipeline. Okay. So this is how some interview questions will be. This is how some random interview questions. Maybe these are the actually asked interview questions. Maybe right. Okay, we have just categorized. This is how the interview questions will be. Prasanna, can you read this?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Can you read it aloud for others as well?
Yeah, this is the real-time processing challenge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, your company process real-time IoT sensor data, and how would you design a low latency and scalable pipelines using Azure Data Factory? And the Azure Stream Analysis and the Azure Synapse Analytics. So how would you optimize query performance when dealing with the high velocity streaming data?
I hope you are able to understand this question.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
all of you, right? So this is, if you are understanding this question, like 50% of the job is done. Now, how to get the answer for it? By the end of this, you'll be able to even get very structurally, very confidently will be answered to this. So at the end of the day, there are like few words what we come up to. High velocity data. What do you mean high velocity data? Data is getting generated at a very rapid pace. Okay, for example, even if you take an example of e-commerce, You have data, there are sales happening, even Zomato, okay, 15 to 20 lakh deliveries every day, right? There's a data is generated in a very high velocity, right? Okay, for that, okay, we have online and like IoT sensor. For example, if you take an example of Bangalore traffic, okay, remember Bangalore traffic is even using drones. I'm not sure that you guys are aware of this. Okay, remember they are using like drones. And also, right, they are installed like sensors in the cameras and all. Along with the cameras, they have installed IoT sensors, right? So where they can sense the vehicle movements, okay, which vehicle, where the accidents are happening and all. Do you know it, how this Google Map operates? Who gives the input for Google Maps? Where the accident is happening, where the congestion is happening and all. That is given by Bangalore traffic. Bangalore, the central government, state government has a unit of this like police. Maybe there's a risk. Okay, they give the IPS officers there. They control all of this, govern all of this thing. Once they approve, this data is given as a data from there. Okay, from whatever they have collected, that will be given as an input for this. Okay, GPS, Google Maps. All of it. Okay, when that it started with IoT sensors. And even there, directly or indirectly, we use all of these tools and services. Okay, so that is how, and this is how the questions will be, right? Just like questions can be anytime. I'm not telling that only these are the questions. You can ask, you can be asked any question, but your preparation should be strong. If your preparations are strong, no matter what questions they ask, you'll be able to confidently answer. Okay. Fine, guys. Anybody has any kind of final questions or anything, you can put across before we wrap.
And who will be telling us about the fee structure and all?
So that thing and all, my team will connect with you. Okay, tomorrow morning around like 10, 11, they will connect with you. Okay, or else it might be you might have received a WhatsApp message from the team, right? Just WhatsApp them. Okay. They will help you out with the details. Possibly, I think that most of the team members have logged out by now. But however, they will connect to you in morning. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
So in every phase of this course, area and other phases. So will you guide to build a CV?
See, that's what I told you, right? Once you complete Data Factory only by using Data Factory, we'll add the projects and you can start attending the interviews for Data Factory.
Okay.
There are even companies where you're only asking for Data Factory.
Yes. Yeah. I saw the few.
Yeah, that's good. That you can start attending that. You can apply for those companies directly. You need not. That's the reason. That's the thing I have told you. I told you that one batch I showed you. In that I told you 20 to 30% of the participants from that batch are already got the job. Even though the training is not completed, that means they have applied for the projects that are completed.
Yeah, that I understand. This time, my point is, will you able to assist how to prepare the CV to?
We will help you. We'll even share you the resumes of people who have got selected. Okay. You'll get a relatable point. Okay.
Because we are showing around 2 years experience.
Yes, how to show that? Okay, what projects to show that? Everything will guide you on that part. Not to worry on that.
Okay, fine.
The only thing is, right, only one thing what we expect from your side is like rigorous practice. See, even though we have got ChatGPT, like Gemini, a lot of AI tools where you can get the answers from, but you have to use it at the very later end. At the start, you should not use that. Right? You have to learn in depth. Once you know everything, like for the shortcut approach, okay, later moment of time you can do the smart work. Right now, you have to do the rigorous practice.
Yes, sir. Not only this, any things you can feed, but the taking inside is
one more thing I'll tell you. Nowadays, like this SQL queries, Python queries, PySpark queries, you can get with ChatGPT like anything. But even that we could have told it directly. Maybe ChatGPT is giving the answer by to learn this. But so if there are any kind of bugs or anything, if you have only picked it up from ChatGPT, you will not know how to fix it.
Yeah.
So for that reason, we should learn the SQL and Python also. Yes, take the help of AI tools like ChatGPT, but do not completely depend on that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So fine, guys. Okay, remember you have my number also. If you have any kind of thing, just WhatsApp me. Remember if you am anytime free. Remember I think you can see in the chat box. You can WhatsApp. If you have any kind of this thing, we'll connect. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other pipelines?
Sorry.
No. Any other pipelines?
Timelines in the sense?
No, actually, you said like the classes will start tomorrow evening
Morning
morning
this thing and all right. So this see normally what we are saying that we have to follow in a very structured way. Connect with the team. These are the latest ones. Okay. Connect with the team. They will help you out.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Okay.
So thank you.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much. I hope you got the value. Brett, if you maintain the same enthusiasm till 3-4 months, I can definitely tell you, you'll be in good positions. Okay, wherever it is. Okay, it's not like motivation or something. That it comes. You should also bring when you come across with hard work or something. What you have got? Yes, definitely. Okay, both the side with both the side effort from our side and your side. Yes, we can get beautiful results. Okay. Okay, guys. Have a great time. Okay, thank you.
Thank you all.